Djokovic is about to use one of his greatest strengths to win this tiebreaker against Jannik Sinner. Do you know what his play is? What's up team, Coach Joshua from TennisTactics.com, and I'm breaking down a new and very specific tennis tactic here on YouTube every week. All the plays I show you are part of my unique tennis tactics system, where I have cataloged and coded hundreds of tennis patterns and plays. And now I'm rolling out my system to help you win more matches. This week we're looking at tactic 11440, so let's draw it out. But first, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so I can bring you more tennis tactics. Alright, so we're looking at a serving tactic that's really effective when we think we have the advantage in the backhand-to-backhand matchup. Think about Djokovic versus anyone else on tour. He is way more comfortable dictating points from the backhand side than anyone else. So the play looks something like this. You are the server on the deuce side and you're going to aim into the outermost third of the service box. As always, we are using our serve as a setup shot. So be aggressive, but we're expecting that ball to come back. Now, one of two things happens here. One, either your opponent consciously chooses to hit this serve down the line, or two, we put a little extra sauce on it, they catch the ball late, and the ball ends up going down the line. Either way, their ball lands about here. This plays right into our hands because we're looking to set up this backhand-to-backhand rally. So for the next ball in this play, we're going to cover the court and direct our backhand cross court. And for this to be effective, we need to keep it deep. So our target should look something like this. And that's the play. Notice we're using our serve to move the returner to the alley, and then we're spreading the court and looking to get them to hit their backhand on the run early in the point. And notice that because we as the server start in the middle of the court, we actually cover less ground to hit our first backhand than they do to hit their first backhand. So rewatching this point with Djokovic, you can see his serve does a great job pulling Sinner into the doubles alley. Here we see Novak controls the center of the court while Sinner is out here on the edge. And whenever we see this, we know the server should be looking to spread the court. And in this play, Djokovic uses the backhand to do it. Keeping in mind that one of the weakest shots your opponents will have is their running backhand. So if you practice running this play, it can deal real damage. Now notice how once Djokovic spreads the court, he is now in an offensive position to start changing direction and hitting up the line in pretty safe but aggressive ways. This tactic is for another video, but now that Djokovic has played line, he keeps playing line to make Sinner run. Fans watching will probably give the glory to his down the line forehand, but he really set this up with his backhands. Now, I realize not everyone's as comfortable dictating points with their backhand, so if a return like Sinner's has you feeling really defensive, try this adjustment. So after you've hit your wide serve and your opponent returns deep up the line, your backhand now has one job. You move over here and you want to roll the ball high and deep to your opponent's backhand. It doesn't have to be fast like Novak's, but push yourself to hit the same zone of the court for maximum effectiveness. Chances are if you feel uncomfortable hitting this shot, your opponent of a similar level is going to feel uncomfortable as well. So the number one thing you can do here is level the playing field and position yourself to hit a forehand on the next ball. That means we prioritize making this ball over being aggressive with it. But the more you practice this shot, feel free to mix in a few aggressive ones to keep pushing yourself. So let's look at the strategy behind this play and why you might choose to use this tactic. Like I said, this is a great play to use if you feel your backhand is better than your opponent's. When you're warming up, check out their backhand side, and if you feel like yours is better, this is a great play to keep in mind if you want to set up this backhand-to-backhand rally once the match begins. Another big benefit here for you as the server is that these first two shots are really pretty high percentage. Out wide serves and cross-court shots are some of the safer shots out there because you're hitting into the longer lines of the court. And the third benefit is when our opponent returns here on the court, we hit our backhand deep cross-court, and now all of a sudden they're on the run. Like I said, running backhands are very inconsistent, and we're making our opponent work physically harder than we are for each of these points. So let's analyze how effective this play is compared to some others. Remember, we want to evaluate tactics in terms of how risky they are to execute and how much damage they can do to your opponent. I'll give this one a risk rating of medium. From an execution standpoint, generally players' backhands are weaker than their forehands. So for most players, it's a little riskier to try and dictate points from the backhand wing. However, the deep cross-court target does follow the long line of the court, so this is not a crazy idea. Just temper it with how you're feeling about your backhand. Now from a position standpoint, your opponent has hit a great return. It's deep, it's down the line, it's to your backhand, he's made you move laterally right after your serve. This is a fairly risky position to be in, and we gotta play it right in order to neutralize the point again. So playing our backhand cross court and deep is a tactic I'd say is about a medium aggression. Let's be clear, I'm not asking you to hit a winner on this first backhand of yours. In this play, we are being aggressive with direction and depth. Power is optional. This is primarily a setup play to win the point later in balls 5 through 8 rather than win the point outright on ball 3. So we're not looking to end the point here, but a lot of opponents do find it tough to handle. If you hit that target deep in the ad corner, it can cause some real trouble. So to recap, This play is especially useful when you feel you have a better backhand than your opponent, or when your opponent is consistently returning your serve down the line, and especially if your opponent is uncomfortable with hitting their backhand on the run. This is a powerful tactic that is underdeveloped in most players. If you master it, it could become your secret weapon. As always, tennis is a game of movement and risk management. Thinking through your tactics is a great way to take your game to the next level. Now that you understand how to use this tactic, find court and give it a try. Let me know how it goes in the comments. If you want to learn more tennis tactics, I'll be dropping a ton of free content here on YouTube. So go ahead, like this video, subscribe to my channel, maybe ring the bell. And if you want even more tennis tactics, head on over to my website, tennistactics.com, to stay in touch. Until then, hit your targets. We'll talk soon.